Welcome to the day 7 of the Kommon Sense Journey. And for those that have been following, you will realize that this has been a major interrogation to the concept of seven sense. And this has been the power of what the seventh common sense would do for you in helping you build the seventh sense and what most people call the pocket university. And I also want to use this opportunity to appreciate those that have decided or deployed common sense for domestic use, which include their relationship with their family, with their wives and their children, and for parenting, and also for their colleagues and friendship. And for those that are using this to deploy critical thinking, analytic thinking, and strategic thinking, those who are using this for corporate sessions to discuss projects and also develop capacity and also human capital. Today, I will be focusing on a key point I call the logic of transformation. There are different books written on transformation, different articles, different classes. But entirely, the focus of transformation is one fact, and that is that before you can improve your productivity, before you can improve your performance, you must go through the process of transformation. And why this is very necessary is that you must be able to develop yourself to change intentionally in such a way that you become the kind of person that will be able to deliver based on promises that you've made. And there are two kinds of transformation. One leads to becoming, the second one leads to reclaiming. But that is not my focus today. But the key categories, the key principles along the transformation highway is that there are four very important states that you must go through before you complete the circle called transformation. The first one is awareness, the point where you just become aware that who you are cannot deliver your vision or your view or your future. So, which demands, therefore, that you need to improve who you are now so that you can deliver to your vision and your future. The second one is the process of deconstruction. At the point you become aware of who you are, then there are things you need to look into. There are attitudes you need to break down. There are habits you need to investigate. There are lifestyles you need to break down. There are mindset, thinking patterns that you need to sit down, holistically evaluate it. And at that point, you begin to break down relationship, break down connections, break down everything you know, just so that you can enter the next phase, which is called reformation. At this stage, through your breaking down process, you've been able to see what works and don't work. You've been able to isolate the good, the bad, the ugly. And clearly, you see that if you have to get to your future or to the desired destination, it is clear that there are things you will need to drop, and there are things you need to continue with, and there are things you need to improve. At that level, we call it reformation. That is when you start picking your strength, the best of your attitude. And for attitudes you don't have, then you begin to develop them so that you can put them together to form a different kind of personality, a person, a mindset, a vision set, a heartbeat, a way of life that will be able to help you achieve what you want. At that point, you arrive at the fourth stage of transformation, which is called transfiguration. Oftentimes, the first three stages, most people really don't see it much. Sometimes people misunderstand you while you're doing that. It is when you get to the fourth stage where you are now transfigured, means you have entered into a new person. Now your habits have changed, your vision board has changed, your sight has changed, your approach to things have changed, your values, your principle, your ethics have changed. At that level, that's when people start recognizing that a new person has been born. And it is that new person that will deliver on the dream for which they want to get. That is when, transformation is complete. But oftentimes, the biggest challenge of transformation is what they call the entry point. It is the point for which you need to first be aware that you need to change before you begin changing. And as often as I will say it, there's a level of knowledge you need to have before you realize you're ignorant. But before then, ignorance is going to be pure bliss for you. And the reason why most people are having that challenge is what I call the transformation logic. And simply what that means is this: when you want to build a slave, when you want to make someone stagnant, when you want to indoctrinate someone to the point of being unproductive, when you want to cover somebody from the sight of what the future holds for them, one of the things that is being used, figuratively or as a metaphor, is called the chain. And therefore, the thing that stops you from changing or going through the transformation process, the thing that stops you from evolving to a better person is like a chain that binds you somewhere. It holds you back. It is that thing that stops you from whatever you want to do, you cannot do it simply because that chain holds you back. And oftentimes, transformation begins from breaking that chain. Except you break that chain, even the choice and the process of transformation cannot be effective because you will not even see the need. And that is why, for many who, especially are teachers, coaches, and the rest, preachers, leaders who make effort to really want to bring people from a different place, will tell you that they make all the effort they make, but it would not work because the person you're dealing with has not seen the chain, has not understood the chain enough to believe that the chain needs to be broken so that they can move. And that's usually the biggest challenge when it comes to transformation. And that is why I call it the logic of transformation. And then the reason is because anyone who wants to design a slave, anyone who wants to hold people bound, always make sure that they bury the chain in a place that is difficult to access, or they bury the chain, cover it, clothe it, and ice it with different kinds of name, just so that accessing the chain becomes a no-no or a no-go area. And then there are different places people bury chain when they want to hold people down. There are people who bury those chains in religion. And so they bury it so deep in certain aspect of religion, in certain aspect of their religious ritual, such that it becomes difficult for you to go there. So even if you want to help a person, they will want you to keep away from certain aspect of their religion. Oftentimes, that is where that chain that is holding them down is buried. Sometimes it is buried in culture, in ethnicity. And sometimes you see certain people you want to help, they are willing to engage in every other aspect of life, but there's a particular area they feel is sacred. Don't just go there. And if the chain is buried there, it becomes difficult to be able to help those people. Sometimes it's also buried in academics, in what you call the literate educational world, through curriculum. Sometimes it can be buried somewhere there, so that they are willing to debate and discuss every other thing except that area. And how do you know this? Is that there is a sacredness to that area. It's like a no-go area. It cannot be discussed, it cannot be debated, it cannot be interrogated. And that is why when anything is buried there, it becomes difficult for you to change, because without cutting the chain, there is no movement. And therefore, whether for self, for leadership, for coaching, for teaching, for writing, one of the easiest way to help people become better, one of the easiest way to inspire and then push people in the journey of transformation, to allow people truly make the essence of that journey, is to break that chain. But you can't break the chain if the place is sacred. And so I would like to leave you with this thought. Take some time and ask yourself, what part of me has become difficult to discuss, difficult, almost impossible to debate, almost a no-go area when it comes to interrogation? Because anything you cannot interrogate is hiding something. Truth, in its very nature, is not afraid of light. And therefore, anything that is truthful can survive interrogation, can survive debate, can survive discussion. Anything that refuses to face and engage the process of interrogation is one of the best way you know where the chain of transformation is buried. And unfortunately, positively, that is one of the most dangerous things that common sense will do. Common sense will interrogate even your most sacred chains. The whole entire vision and intention is to break its hold on you so that you become free, so that you go through the transformation process. Until we meet again, live well with the Pocket University. My name remains Victor Prince Dixon.